Jupiter, blasting out of the universe. Need to loosen up, but deep in my pursuit of the Catdet. Am I cool enough? No, probably not, but still moving up. That's a money verb while sitting at the computer, and yeah. Mission moves along, gonna make it easy for them all to come and get involved. Station Nation been going up, volume isn't my middle name, still see me in that order book. Need to learn to trade the patience and maybe then you'll start to cook. But still I swear I'm always chasing, I'm dumb as fuck, but don't blow it up. Jupiter, blasting out of the universe. Need to loosen up, but deep in my pursuit of the Catdet. Am I cool enough? No, probably not, but still moving up. That's a money verb while sitting at the computer, and yeah. Mission moves along, gonna make it easy for them all to come and get involved.
Well, hello to all my friends out there in the Jupiter universe. Let me bring Meow up on stage here as well. We're going to get started in just a minute or two. We have a very fun one today. I'll wait till Meow's camera is going on here. A very fun one today. We're going to dive into a bunch of kind of critical principles for where things are going, get a great update from the CWG, and of course, hear from some PPP communities. Let me get a little JM in the chat if you're with me right now. And let me get a little W in the chat for the man with the freshest haircut in all of APAC right now. Looking young, my friend. People don't know this. Meow is actually 75 years old. But, you know, he's just able to work out all the time and stay fresh. Looking good, brother. Is your mic working?
Yes, it's working. Fuck you.
Hey, there we go. Okay, I was wondering why you weren't saying fuck you rather than...
Now you know, bro. Now you know. Let's go.
Let's fucking go. All right, folks. We are going to get ready to blast off here in just a second. JM to you, honest traveler, and to everybody else dropping JMs into the chat. It is good to see you. It is a Jupiter morning, every morning. We're just trying to keep up with all the acronyms. Got to get the dictionary going. As a reminder, there is a literal glossary on jup.eco that you can check out. We are indeed ensuring that all of APAC is safe right now from the lady killer, because the lady killer has been hard at work. Let me tell you, it's not been sleeping much. And we are sending it. Let's just jump right into it. I think the vibes are right. The energy is good. Let's fucking go. Hello, 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 and welcome to this, the Planetary call of July 17th. My goodness, it's already July. We have a lot of fun for you today, but the most fun part of the whole thing is going to be this little song, the official Catdets theme song. Meow is currently breakdancing over on the other side of the room, so he has gotten up from his camera, but he is amped, as I'm sure you are, as I know I am. My name is Cash Donda. I lead the upper.
Getting liquidity, bro. It's all about liquidity. I'm getting liquidity.
I see what you did there. That's better than some of the puns that we were doing last time, which are a little PG-13 for this family-friendly show.
I'm telling you, this is the most fun liquidity, okay? Without this liquidity, nothing works, okay? Fuck, fuck AMMs, fuck Texas. This is the real liquidity, bro. This is the real liquidity. Everybody get your liquidity,
Pinky's out because we're fancy in this bitch. Anyway, I'm Cash. That's Meow. A soju and FP cheers beer. Me and Meow, we're about that healthy lifestyle. We cheers water and H2O. Meow drinking soju straight from the bottle. Perhaps not. Greetings. If it is your first time around here, let me tell you a little bit about how this works. This is a call we do every week on behalf of the Jupiter universe. We bring in people from the product side, from the Jupiter team, people, Catdets come in, people from working groups, key partners, and many others come on to talk about all the good stuff that's happening in the JUPiverse on any given day. But we are not here to talk about the token price, right? Markets are good, markets are bad. We're here either goddamn way. What are you laughing at in the chat there, Meow?
No, I mean I drank water and someone's like, are you pumping water?
No, do not. Do not. I think that was a mess.
Yeah, I think I reflect what everyone's saying when I go, what the hell is going on? Why would a billionaire footballer suddenly talk about water? Is he that passionate about water?
It was very, very surprising. I don't know how deep.
Like, what's going on here? You know what I'm saying? You know, right? It's hilarious.
The KOL stuff there is getting out of hand. If Messi is your KOL, you're on a different tier.
Yeah, different tier, man. I mean, like if Messi is KOL, I'm like, okay, you got it.
Well, shout out to Raid Berdar here for the first time, and shout out to everybody else that's here for the first time. As I say, we're not talking about tokens. We're here talking about people, products, and partners that make the Jupiter ecosystem great. We do this. Do not pump water tokens or any other tokens out here. We are going to go through this agenda today. We got some wins of the week to share, some things that the Jupiter, ecosystem has been up to in the last 7 days. Then something I'm very excited for is the Jupiter Principles Deep Dive. There's a lot of very important DAO votes that are coming up. People who've been paying attention to the DAO and know this. If you don't worry, you'll hear more about them soon. And so it is the perfect time to revisit some of the key principles that push Jupiter and the Jupiter ecosystem forward. My guy Meow is going to be taking us through all of those. Then we're going to get the quarterly report update from the core working group. The core working group, people will remember, was approved something like 3 to 6 months ago. I can't remember exactly. They'll have an accountability vote coming up in the next few months. And so they're here to showcase their progress, what they've been working on. We got the most famous slug in all of the universe here, Slorg, who's going to be taking us through that. Then we're going to hear from some PPP communities. We have Billy and Send here right now. Trump, I think, might be in his car. So I'm not sure that she's going to make it on time, but we're hoping. Fingers crossed. B, if you're watching this, please join. And then we are going to do the closing POAP. So a lot of people are here. I know love the POAPs. I love the POAPs. That'll be at the end of the call. Somebody asked who makes those POAPs. That would be Srijani from the Uplink Working Group. So shout out to Srijani, best artist on Solana. That's what we got today. A lot of good stuff coming your way. Should we jump right into it, Meow?
Let's go.
Let's flip and go. All right. So wins of the week, and there were a few. Let's start it off real quick right here. Ape is evolving with the branding that we, I think that the audience just really loved the Ape brand condoms branding from last time, overwhelming the Jupiter marketing team and going in a different way. Ape, of course, is the safest way to trade meme coins right now. It's an alpha still, so it's still an early product. But the upside of that is that there's big updates happening constantly. So Ape has improved a lot in the last 2 weeks. There are now categories in the Ape UI. You have an improved portfolio and vault sections. You can see your holdings at a given time. You can hide tokens so that the view is a little bit cleaner, better shareable links, and some other kind of miscellaneous quality of life improvements. That product is getting better every week. Still in alpha, but it's getting better and better. Shout out to Josh T and Wake It. How are you feeling about Ape these days, Meow?
I mean, yeah, it's great. I mean, like it's an early product, but working really, really hard. You know, improving it every day and making it very portable, right? So, you know, improving different things like across like extensions and across like the mobile web app, PWA, right? You know, so I think it's gonna be stuff. Yeah, I think, but it's early, right? So I think it's all about like improving it. You know, honestly, guys, it's actually really exciting to build something new because you know, Jupiter is quite a considered product, right? And then it's like, you know, like we get about a few thousand calls every minute or something, right? And then like it's just crazy. Like lots of API, the whole ecosystem using it, right? But whereas for this product, it's a new product, so it's quite refreshing because you get to like iterate on it and improve it. You get very close to the user, you know. So yeah, that's how it works, you know. Yeah.
We want to get close to you, users. Drop your feedback over in Discord so we can make this even better for everybody around.
Oh, yeah, and there's also a new Twitter account and stuff. So you know, please.
Yes. Let's grab that link. If somebody can drop that into the chat, that would be great as well. Go follow that for all.
I'll do it right now.
You got it? Excellent. Okay, cool. Ciao, Bailey. What's going on, Scarlett? All right. Ape is getting better every week. Still early days, but Ape is getting better and some big improvements coming. The next product improvement here, the Jupiter token list is a banger. So the Jupiter token list, as many people might not know, is used not just by Jupiter, but by many other ecosystem teams across Solana to help validate which tokens are kind of legit and which ones are less legit. So there's been some improvements here that really help everyone across the ecosystem. So there is now the Ecosystem Master Token List API, which takes information from a bunch of different places. So we have fresher, better data. There's a new community token list approval process, which is very interesting, so that Slorg and May can get some sleep every once in a while. And in general, the whole point here is to protect you from imposter coins, right? Every time there is a Meow coin that is real, there are 50 Meow coins that are fake. The strict list helps keep everybody safe. It's the idea. So shout out to May, Slorg, Bape, and all the Catdets who are participating in that process, making Solana just a little bit safer for everybody, which I think is great. Last thing on the product side, I think, is Fluxbeam is now included in the T0 routing, which means as soon as a token is launched with the token 2022 standard, you can now see that, from Fluxbeam on Jupiter, including with all of the normal spot trading tools that you love, such as dollar cost average, value average, limit orders, and so on and so forth. So just yet another step forward to aggregating everything on Jupiter, the Everything Exchange, where now you can get all Fluxbeam related tokens as well. Let's go next to Gum. Gum is growing every week behind the scenes. People maybe see this. If you're on the JUP research forums, you'll see those introduction posts. Thrilled to announce that Credible, which is a super team project actually, joins the Giant Universal Market Alliance. They're building a liquidity layer for RWA tokenization. The future is going to be a lot more assets from the quote-unquote real world being tokenized, brought on chain, where they can access 24/7 markets, global liquidity, and all the other things that Gum is here to deliver upon. So now their LP tokens that represent baskets of RWAs will be integrated directly on to JUP.ag. They've got some cool things going on. They're working with like a DPIN project that does kind of electric power stations, all are like in a DPIN fashion called D-Charge, and many other like unique asset models that you're not really going to get anywhere else. So really excited to have them in here. Shout out to Soju and to the Credible team. And then here's a big one. It's Sanctum Week. Are there any Cloud Boys in the audience here? Gum SA coming, says Meow. You got to stay piping, my friend. Got to get that out there. Let's see. Any Cloud Boys in the chat? Can I get a little cloud in the chat if you are hyped about the launch? We did a special liftoff call yesterday with me, Soju, and FP, one of the co-founders of Sanctum. That token will be launching tomorrow at 3 p.m. UTC. The Alpha Vault is now live. So in case you want to deposit now, be the first ones to buy ahead of the sniper bots. You can do that right now. As a reminder, there is, I think, 180 days vesting period if you put your money in there. So you got to be a little bit more long-term oriented if you want to take advantage of that. But the airdrop checker is live. If I'm not mistaken, only a few hours ago, they actually pushed an update to that as well to account for a few small changes that came from some of the community feedback that is there. So you can go check out the Sanctum Twitter profile to learn more about that. And then as a reminder, cloud tokens will be included in the next ASR. Right, so the ASR that happens at the end of Q3. So we'll see you at launch. Shout out to FP, Soju, and the team who have been not really sleeping in order to make this one happen. How are you feeling about Sanctum right now, Meow?
I mean, honestly, I feel like the Sanctum team is obviously a really great team, and Sanctum is a really great platform. I mean, probably the most revolutionary LST team in the ecosystem, in the whole crypto, not just Solana, right? You know what I'm saying? But I think there's actually, there's actually a lot of like, as now there's actually a lot of happiness about the Sanctum launch, and the airdrop. And I think I want to say here that I think they worked really, really, really hard to kind of like get it right. And I think there were some things that I think we all think could be done better, right? You know, but I think, you know what, I think they are working really hard on it. I think you can also read a lot about how they think about it. And I'm quite sure they'll fix it in the future. I mean, you know, people learn, right? You know, I certainly learned a lot, you know, from every mistake I make, right? You know, or I think if I'll say I feel like the future for Sanctum is extremely bright. And then you know, but at the same time, I think you know, but there are some important lessons to learn here, right? About how to build community, about how to do engagement, how to do distribution. Yeah, so you know, I think for everyone who is like disappointed in their drop, I would say, you know what, I would say give them a chance, right? You know, communicate your feedback, you know, and work with them if you're interested if you believe in the platform, work with them. You know, I'm quite sure they'll do it right for you guys. Yeah.
Yeah, I would say agreed. I see it in the chat here. Some folks not so happy with the airdrop or respecting Sanctum, but thinking it might be a letdown. Understandable that this kind of thing happens, but you know, I can speak for the earnestness.
Okay, guys. So let me say, okay. I think a lot of people asking to stop supporting them because they don't have the airdrop. So it's a good chance to kind of share kind of like how I feel about supporting teams, right? So I feel like the way I support teams is that if I believe in the team and I believe in like the fundamentals of the project, right? Right? And the way I support them is like not by shielding them. I don't show anything, right? I don't show them, right? But I give them honest feedback, right? I tell them exactly what's going on, what's wrong, how I think about it. But yeah, I think but in this case, I think I support them because they're a great team and great platform and really good for crypto in general, right? Yeah, I think but I also do give them a lot of feedback, right? Whatever I'm telling you now, I tell them, right? 10x worse, right? So that's how I support, right? Not by shielding them, not by dumping them when people don't like them, right? I don't do that, right? Right? But I think it's kind of like helping them understand what's going on, what people are thinking, and then kind of helping them how to bring the community with them. That's how I think about it. Yeah.
Makes sense. For folks who do have feedback or do want to hear more or just understand where things are right now, I do believe that FP and Slorg will be doing a Twitter space very soon. If not after this call, it might be tomorrow. I can't remember the exact time. But so you can go make your voice heard, see what will happen. I will also say there is an allocation left behind for additional earnest people. So if you feel that you were earnest, that you feel like you were contributed and you weren't rewarded for whatever reason, there is a process, there is a pool to help kind of support people that were missed in that. So hopefully that'll help make people feel a little bit better, but ultimately, it's an experiment. It's a learning opportunity, and we'll go forward. I too really like the Sanctum product and excited to see where they go from here. Okay, one other win that I definitely do, or two other wins that we should talk about from the community side before we go any further. First, shout out to J.U.P and Juice. Can I get a little J for J in the chat here for Wakes and Sachs? Sachs was on the Planetary call last week talking about J.U.P and Juice Radio. It's basically a podcast where they can talk about everything Jupiter related. A little bit more degen than what we have over on this call, but it's there to help support the community, having members from the community on there, giving them more of a platform to be able to speak. Definitely encourage people to go check that out. I think they have their own Twitter page as well, if I'm not mistaken. But if not, go follow Wake and Sachs over there. So they got a micro grant to get going. OG General was on there last week, which is what we love to see. And then on the community side, the Catdets working group has gone IRL. You can't say exactly who is who over here, but I think this is YY, Soju, and a few other folks from the Cadets working group all together. A lot of cat emojis. If you were trying to do a little Cadets meetup, let us know in Discord. I think it could be cool to start to do this all over the world. What do you think, Meow?
There was a zero meetup I saw in London. That was so fun.
The zero meetup was a good time. Yeah, me and Meow were both at that. Zero boys don't fuck around. I'll tell you that. Jacked mostly, like they're a very fit group of folks. And they like to party a little bit. Shout out to all the Zero boys in the audience. All right. With that said, let's. Those are the wins of the week. So some good progress updates on the product from some partners and some integrations, and of course from the community as well. With that said, let's move into kind of the meat of the call here, which is around Jupiter principles. As a reminder to everybody, there are a bunch of votes coming up around the kind of future of JUP. There's going to be 3 critical votes over the next, I believe, 4 to 6 weeks. Around token supply, emissions, ASR, Jupawares, and much, much more. And so to help kind of lay the philosophical groundwork, the philosophical foundations, our guy Meow, he's confirmed as a feline and he's confirmed as an acronyms connoisseur, is here to talk to us about some of the things that really matter. So what is the Jupiverse all about, Meow?
I think that the key idea for Jupiverse is one second. The slides here are a little bit off here. 1 second.
Is this the one you're expecting? I don't know.
We need to kind of do some stuff in real time here. All right. Sorry about that.
We're doing it live, folks. This is how we do it. It's happening in the moment. Let me know when you're done editing it here. Or we can go no slides if you want to go no slides and just talk directly to the people.
No, it's okay. 1 second. Just give me a one second real quick. I like doing things live anyway. It's more fun that way. 1 second here.
Abbreviations. I'm being told that these are not acronyms. These are abbreviations.
What's that? Sorry?
I'm being told that these are not actually acronyms. And my grammar, my English teachers would be just absolutely disappointed in me right now.
Oh, really?
Abbreviations, apparently. We take grammar advice from the chat over here.
Okay, 1 second, guys. It's actually all my bad. I completely fucked up. So here we go.
This is all good. It's just us and a few of our 1,000 closest friends. So we'll wait until there we go. You can see it happening live on the screen.
Okay, live. There you go. There you go. It's live. Okay, let us start now.
There we go.
Okay, let's reset. Okay, go last slide.
Let's go. Reset. So we're here with acronyms or abbreviations connoisseur, depending on your grammar. Meow, what is the JUPiverse all about?
Cool, awesome. So I think over here, I think as Cash mentioned earlier, right? We are reviewing some of the key ideas behind the whole JUP design and JUP thinking to kind of like lay the groundwork. Okay, lay the groundwork for the upcoming votes coming up. So the one of the main Cash, can you put the 50-50 thing, the image? But one of the key ideas that we kind of work on, right, is the idea of 50-50, which around like which is really around like the team manages 50% of the token supply, right, and the community manages their 50%, right, allocates their 50%. So what that means, right, is that and the root of that thinking and the root of that thinking right, really has to do with this is the image, right, 50-50, you know, and the root of that thinking, right, really has to do with the idea that we need both, right. Now, first of all, the team needs a lot of like the team needs a lot of leverage and a lot of like ability to move fast and make strategic decisions, right? You know, whether it's regards the team, whether it's recruiting the best team members, the best people in the world, right? You know, or whether it's around like making strategic investments, you know, or whether it's around like whether it's around making strategic acquisitions, right? So the team actually needs a lot of ability to kind of make these strong moves, right? Or even something like a meta acceleration fund, right? So the team actually needs to actually be able to actually leverage JUP to actually do a lot of big moves, right? Now, on the other hand, it's also really important to have the community be very, very tightly in loop, right, around like what is going on and have a very, very big say, you know, over key things like token distribution and airdrops and everything, right? Now, think about it, guys. If a project, right, lacks trust, right, that means that the team doesn't trust the community. But it's big, by the way. It's actually really interesting, by the way, because there's actually this like over the past few months, I think I actually read a lot of tweets by very prominent founders, right, saying that forget the community, right, that it doesn't work. And funny thing, even the community members say the same thing too, right? So it's like they go like, hey, you know what, like you know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah, I do. Absolutely.
Sorry, go on.
I do. I think a lot of times founders or teams kind of see the community as like a necessary evil. Right, where they're like, hey, we kind of need this for the project, but it is either a distraction or like whatever else. There's not a lot of trust and faith. And I will say, somewhat uniquely, like sorry, go ahead.
And vice versa, right? In many projects, the community loses trust in the team.
Right? And
Right?
it becomes this kind of PvP dynamic of like the team versus the community, right?
Precisely, right? So sorry, I'll speak slow because it's actually really important, okay? Because when the team do not trust the community, and the community doesn't trust the team, right, it becomes PPP, right? And it just breaks down from there, right? Because guys, it's very, very important here, right? When there's no trust between the community and the team, it just breaks down, right? You know, the PVP just becomes PVP, right? You know what I'm saying, right? So actually, I feel like establishing this and you notice I don't really go in crazy, right? In terms of being, you know how teams, they go like amazing. It got Cash. You know what's amazing? What's amazing for me is this, right? It's like before anything ever started, you already know exactly you're going to use 5% for this, 6% for this, 7% for this, 2.5% for this, right? I'm like, how will you know? How the fuck will you know? You know what we're gonna do it for? Right? You don't know this shit, right? You don't know this shit, right? I mean, more or less you can just roughly kind of know, right? Provide some guidance, right? You know what I'm saying, right? But you don't really know, right? I think that's the reason why I think I don't like all that like I don't like all that like random shit, right? You know, I think it's much easier just go, okay, hey, this is a 50-50 principle, right? Now, we take equal responsibility, okay, in making this work, okay? Because if this works, it's gonna be good for us, good for you, good for the world, good for crypto, good for everyone. That doesn't make sense, right? So we do that, right? So I think that's something actually very fundamental to how we think about stuff. So that's 50-50, okay? It means that the team and the community, right, will have equal leverage and equal understanding and equal trust in each other. Because again, I've seen projects where this trust doesn't exist and it's just holding just dies, you know, like really fucking fast, right? You know, yeah. That makes sense. Yeah, cool. Yeah. So that's the 50-50 thing, you know. Yeah. What do you think, Cash? Does it make sense?
Yeah, I think it makes sense. I think it is a more radical idea than you're maybe like positioning it as, because it is not the way that I think most projects or most communities kind of like approach things, right? Either the communities want to just be like in the backseat and let the team drive and do all the value creation while they just kind of sit along passively, or the team just wants to kind of like dump and be like, let's exit to the community. And I think in this case, the approach is very much like, let's build it hand in hand with the community. This is where the J for J principle
Yeah,
comes from.
it's
as
all
well,
a
right?
trust. I think, and at the end of the day, it's about trust, right? I mean,
Hmm.
like, okay, do you know what I think? I think that tokenomics are a representation of your values. You know, right?
Hmm.
I think people think of tokenomics more like a economics thing. I really
Like a
don't.
math equation or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a math equation or something like A plus equal 100, right? I think of it a lot more as an embodiment of a philosophy. You know what I'm saying? So that's how I think about it largely. Yeah, that's how I think about it. Yeah,
And
yeah.
then
Okay.
speaking of community, the next one here is CEF, community eats first.
Yeah, so they're thinking about they're thinking about trust, right? It's about community first, right? It's the idea that I think so there are some very important things that the team needs, right? For example, the team needs to operating funds, right? The team needs operating funds. The team needs a certain buffer to be able to execute on big moves, right? And some team members, they need certain amounts of liquidity, right? For their daily lives, right? Things like that, because they work on it for like 5 years or so, right? Whatever, right? So, but beyond that and stuff, I want to emphasize again that the key idea for us here is a community first, right? That means that essentially means that, for example, over here it means that, for example, the team, the 100% of the full cliff would be slot for 2 more years, right? This basically and this happened after Jubilee, right? After first Jubilee. Right, which means that the team would take 100%. For example, if Jubilee happens, make sense, right? That Jubilee doesn't go to us, by the way. Jubilee doesn't go to investors, by the way. Jubilee go to the community and users, by the way, right? ASR goes to the community, by the way, right? That's actually really important, right? Because the ASR and the ASR and the ASR and the Jubilee doesn't go to the team or investors, right? Go to the community, right? So we will have executed one major ASR first, and then we will stick everything, right? That we're getting, right? And so that's what community first, right? The community first, ASR, Jubilee, right? And basically we are going like basically we are standing by whatever we say, right? If our strategy is ASR and Jubilee, we stand by that, right? We won't go like, oh, let me dump first into Jubilee. No. We stand by that.
Yeah, let me use Jubilee as exit liquidity, right?
If I push either Jubilee and Jubilee doesn't work, right? You know what I'm saying? Right? I eat last. Simple, right? Because and furthermore, me and Xiong, and along with many other members of the team. So the way it works is, I think most of members of my team have said, okay, you know what, guys, I'm all in with you, right? I might need to actually liquidate a couple of my my vestings, right? But a few of my vestings, right? Because I have like certain needs, right? Family needs, I have social security needs, everything. Make sense, right? But by and large, they're like in with us, right? So the team is gonna be in, right? Me and Sean is gonna be in, right? The team for the team majority is gonna be in, right? All the way to June 2026. You know what I'm saying, right? So that's either. What's that? Sorry.
I said it's a big deal for anyone who had missed that, by the way. Meow a few weeks ago had Meow and Chiang, two of the co-founders of Jupiter, had said they're not taking any tokens until 2026. When
no, we're locking tokens. We're locking and staking all tokens.
Locking and staking the tokens, not selling any tokens. Is
yeah,
right?
and 2026,
yeah.
Right?
So no boats with exotic.
Basically, if this strategy, if we fail to actually basically it's very simple, right? It's like, okay, we have a certain strategy, we are pitching this strategy, right? And then we go, okay, if this strategy doesn't, and we are putting our entire allocation and back on this strategy. You know what I'm saying? So that's how it works. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's how I go about it. Right? It's standing behind what we were saying, right? And also community, and that's community first. Because if the community doesn't eat, we don't eat. Done. Simple.
Simple
so
as.
That's how it
There's
works.
no world in which you make it and the community does not. I think is like
pretty
the bottom line here,
right? And lastly, it's the PPP thing, right? I talk about PPP a lot.
Drop a little PPP in the comments for me if you're still with us here. On,
PPP. So I talk PPP a lot, And I just take a couple of minutes to talk about what that means in terms of Jupiter sense, right? Now, PPP doesn't mean that the protocol just go to the moon. No. That's moon boy talk. We don't do moon boy talk, right? No, PPP also doesn't mean that. PPP also doesn't mean that I will just be fine, I'm really happy, right? No, that's not how it works, okay? PPP actually means this very important thing. Okay? Let me say once and for all. PPP means that there's trust. There's trust, okay? Like the team, for example, our airdrop is a trusting, right? We gave one of the biggest airdrops in the world and stuff to the community without actually with good faith. There's a trust, right? I'm saying, right? And that happened at a time where liquidity was very, very low, right? Like trust. Now, and also the community trusts the team because we do CF, right? We promise to do certain things, so we build trust, right? And then trust in the working groups, right? Trust in the working groups, trust each other and stuff. So it's kind of how do you kind of build trust between all the different stakeholders, right? Remember the previous diagram, we have the team, we have the community, we have the DAO, we have the Catdets, and we have the working groups, right? So all of them so that this is a very big trust, right, between each other too. Now, for example, Cash, if the team if not even between stakeholders, right, even between the team members, right? Now, for example, Cash. Now, if one team member thinks that I'm gonna dump the moment I get something, what would they do?
They try to get it 1 second earlier and dump 1 second earlier, right? Yeah.
Like, write a script, the moment I dump it. You're saying, right? No, or I will write a script to make sure I get it first. Make sense? Right? You know what I'm saying? Does it make sense? Right? Or for example, or for example, if you think that a community member is gonna dump, you dump first too, right? I'm saying, right? So that's how things die, right? Because you create this you create this adversarial environment.
Yeah,
right.
It's like a negative flywheel, basically.
Yeah, negative flywheel, precisely, right? So basically, PPP is not about everything pump. There's no such thing. There's no such magic formula. Okay, like like money and value gets created. When there's the massive amount of energy poured into a project, right, or a thing. What I mean, it doesn't. There's no such magic formula, right? PPP is not a magic formula for sort of manifesting money. No, it's not, right? But it's about creating a virtuous flywheel of trust. Right, I'm saying, and that's why we do this course, right? Because we want to really make sure that whatever we are doing and stuff, people understand the process. I'm saying, right? Understand the process, understand thinking. Does it make sense? That's how it works, Yeah. So Santos, our team too. We have jobs, we have pay bills and support family and stuff, right? No, 100%, right? Which is why I've always made it very clear, right? That I even told my team members, right? All team members as well, right? Stick the agreement is that stick the first cliff, right? If you need to sell a couple of best things, go ahead, right? Because you do need to have a family and everything. Right? But pretty much and stuff, right? But whatever it is, we're going to be fucking transparent about it. That's how it works. Yeah.
I think that's great.
So that's trust. Yeah. Does it make sense?
That's really what it all comes down to. And I think that's really also trust in the community is also why these massive proposals are coming up, right? To eliminate 30% of the overall token supply, to continue Jupoaries or not, and to continue active staking rewards or not. It's a matter of kind of, does the rest of the community kind of believe in these principles and kind of trust both the community and the team to act fairly going forward?
Do you want to talk? It's really important. I think it's really important to have this thing, right? That you trust that people are acting in good faith, right? That's really, really important, because when you don't, I found that the critical thing is this: when the important part of the community doesn't trust, right, and nothing is in good faith, everything's over. It's just over. The thing is just gone, right? So I feel like what's actually really important for me is that and we go to great lengths to do that, right? You know what I'm saying? It's that there's trust. You know what I'm saying? That's actually really important. I trust the community to make key decisions, right? For example, Jubilee, right? Obviously, I want Jubilee to happen, right? But hear me out, right? But even if Jubilee, very important. Hey, guys. Okay, sorry, I will say this thing. I know running out of time, but it's actually really important. Letting the community, letting token holders, vote on Jubilee, right, is a really important part of PPP. I say again, because I talk quite fast, right? So letting the token community vote on Jubilee is a big idea of PPP, right? Because now think about it, right? It's usually an adversarial thing, right? When token holders doesn't want to be diluted, right? So they go, fuck, we shouldn't give any tokens out. Fuck this shit. Done. right? I'm saying, no, right? But that creates an adversarial environment, right? I'm saying, right? If basically they're going to start, they're going to be like, hey, fuck you. So that the user starts scolding the promoters, right? And vice versa, right? Really bad, right? Like really bad. Then what happens then? It's a PvP dynamic, right? Between the users and the token holders, and often they're actually the same group of people, right? Right. So here's the thing. But then if the community comes together, okay, and vote together to say, okay, we want this thing, or conversely, we don't want this thing, right? Then it's up to me to come back with something else, right? But if they do want this thing, it is something that we all agree on, right? In second, right, we all agree to do this thing because it is probably good for the developers in the long run.
This is the buy-in.
What's that?
Absolutely. Yeah. I said this is the community buy-in, kind of like taking ownership of the key decisions, and the decision is theirs. Do they keep the door open and allow more people to expand the mission, or close it behind them? Yeah,
and Cash, you think about it, right? The jubilary vote, right? From the jubilary vote from a pure economic perspective is bad for the DAO members. Make sense, right?
In the short term, yeah.
From a pure numbers perspective, it's bad. Right?
In the short term, yeah.
Yeah, but no, maybe not. Maybe even not. Maybe it's gonna be great, right? Who knows, right? But here's the thing. Now, if that's fascinating about the jubilary thing. Basically, I think if DAO agrees on that, it would actually be the first time it will be proof, right? That DAO can actually look past very short-term metrics, right? And actually look at long-term potential. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So that's actually a really, really, really important thing. Yeah.
I fully agree. In the interest of time, because I know you got
because the perception of DAO, the perception of DAOs, right, is that because the perception of DAO is that like they can only make short-term decisions, right? But then if actually this goes through and stuff, it will show that the DAO is actually capable of making longer-term decisions. Make sense? Right? But if it doesn't go through, it's fine too, right? That means it's up to me to come back with a new proposal, and go from there. Yeah.
That's right. Well, in the interest of time, because I know you have to jump. Should we talk about the new meta for meme and social coins?
Okay, so I'm gonna be I'm going to take a quick on this thing. I'm gonna do a quick on this thing. Yeah, basically, I think one of the things that I'm going to be really focused on in the coming months is going to be new meta for tokens launches, right? So obviously, I think with the for Jubilary, I think for LFG, I've been doing that already, right? And then I want to address a few things that I've been seeing with the whole like new social and meme coin launches, right? And then I think I've been thinking about it a lot, right? And I think it comes into one thing: transparency.
Yep.
I feel like what is actually really, really tricky is that there's no transparency right now, right? It's like 99.999% of the coins that launch in meme coin and social coin, there's no transparency, right? Right? It's so they launch and they launch something, right? And then there's all sniping. Right.
It's why there's like a whole cottage industry of like on-chain private detectives basically trying to be like, okay, who actually owns how much? Are they?
Yeah, but it's actually really, really hard. It's actually really hard to do because like
it is.
And the more you get out of it, and the more it's gonna get harder and harder to test to see this thing. You can't because like normally they do it by looking at wallet transactions and stuff, right? But if you do it well enough across different enough sectors, you can't. It's actually really, really hard. Right, to do anything, really, really difficult, right? And then so they do sniping and everything, right? They snipe the supply, and also there's also no transparency in terms of like who gets what and the vesting schedule. So there's actually a lot of insta dumps, right? In fact, it's funny because there's this really big situation whereby these really prominent influencers, right? Got insta dumped, right? I'm like, why? I mean, then the project blamed the influencer for insta dumping, right? I'm like, wait, why do you even allow him to insta in the first place, right? How did that even happen? Yeah. Like why would that even happen? Well, you can't blame someone for insta dumping if you get him tokens right away, right? That's how it works. I'm saying, right?
Yeah, if the game design is designed in a way to enable bad behavior, people will take it and call it playing by the rules of the game. And I think that's probably why we need a new game to kind of develop here that's more focused around the transparency, because without the transparency,
I'm very interested in creating a new like transparency meta. I mean, don't get me wrong. I feel like there's always and then I think and then also I think if we do an airdrop, it should be a known airdrop to broad spread, right? As you know, I'm working on as you know, that's probably working on the airdrop experiment, right? You know, right? So
do,
yeah,
can we say what the name of that experiment is, or you try to?
No. Soon. Yeah. Soon. Yeah, but we're gonna do that really soon. Yeah, I think we're gonna do that. I'm gonna do that airdrop experiment, right? For sure, right? So I think lastly is I think when you get creative about capital formation, right? Because a lot of these things, because unlike okay, here guys, hear me out, right? Now, because when in a normal project, right? There's a lot of VCs, there's a lot of different structures, right? For raising capital, right, and getting initial liquidity, right? But for meme coins, because of the nature of meme coins, it's a meme, right? But meme coins also need capital, right? Either for liquidity or for operations and for everything, right? Yeah. So I think that's actually something that I think we need to get really creative on, right? So that we're going to be experimenting with like different kind of ways of like capital formation for meme coins as well. Yeah. So anyway, I think all in all, I think I've been really busy the last few weeks. But I think we're working on this thing. But I think I'm ready to actually push this new meta together. Yeah. So I think that there's gonna be a bunch of experiments. Starting with an airdrop one, and then and also I'm also working with a whole range of like great people to to create a new meta for meme coins around transparency. So the keyword is transparency. Whether it's around debt allocations, or like vesting schedules, or like airdrops, or like capital formation, one word, transparency, and that is actually like the key angle I go after. Yeah.
Makes absolute sense. So from a community perspective, it's all about trust in the community and the community itself, kind of trusting in this kind of PPP mentality. And then a new meta might be on the way that's all about transparency.
We try that. Guys, one thing I'll say
it's
here.
It's an experiment. That's the critical thing to remember at all times.
No, not just that, right? Not just that, right? It's like there's this very cynical view in meme coins right now that you have to do these things. You have to snap. You have to allow instant dumping. You have to drop it to people in a close way. There's only one way to do capital formation, right? I don't think that's true at all, right? I don't think it's true at all. I think we can create a new meta for these things. And you know what? We can try, right? I'm not promising success, right? We can try. Yeah.
Let's find out. Excellent. All right. Well, with that said, hopefully that helps bring you a little bit closer into the thinking, certainly Meow's thinking and the team's thinking in terms of where Jupiter is going, what it is based on. Because I think as long as we have solid principles in this community, it makes it a lot easier to start to move forward.
Yeah, but I think the goal of reviewing these things is to kind of review like the fundamental ideas behind why we do things for J.U.P. Make sense? Trust. Right, and trust is 50-50, CF, PPP, right? It doesn't mean I promise anything about J.U.P. No, I don't. That's what I'm saying. Okay, I'm saying that these are the principles upon which we try to push J.U.P. forward. Okay, and then similarly, right, for this new Memecoin meta, right? I'm not promising anything will work or anything's gonna pump. No, that's what I'm saying, right? I'm saying that okay, I think it might be worthwhile. Right? Try to push a transparency meta, because right now the meme coin space has become this like very cynical space that people go, you have to snipe.
They call it the trenches because it's deadly down there. Like it is it's deadly dirty places in the trenches right now.
Yeah, I don't think so. I don't think we need to do that. I don't think we need to be in the world where I go like, okay, if you don't do these things, you're fucked. No, I'll try.
Let's find out. Yeah. If you are excited to see this experiment, and if you are excited about the trust in the community, drop me a little W in the chat right now so that we know that you're still with us. Meow, thanks for taking us through it. Let's head on over to the next part of this little segment here, which is, Meow's got the first W in there. This is like the Spider-Man or the Obama giving Obama a medal meme when Meow gives himself a W for talking about things. Let's go over next, though.
Come on, bro, it's not that bad.
Let's bring up next the universe's favorite slug, Mr. Slorg of the Slugs. How's it going, Slugman?
The best slug in the world, best slug in the universe, best slug in the fucking Jupiter. Let's go.
The man who does not sleep. I can tell you from firsthand experience, this slug is doing like 14 hours a day right now on everything around the CWG and Jupiter. Tell us, Slorg, the first quarterly report came out from an accountability and transparency and trust building perspective. What is kind of the vision for the DAO and the CWG, and what have you guys been up to lately?
Yeah, I just want to say I'm a little insulted because I think last time you introduced me as the best slug in the multiverse, and now it's just the universe, so it's a slight downgrade.
I got to be honest, man. I've befriended the slugs from some other universes.
You cannot. It's so crazy. You have to keep upgrading a phrase. You know what I'm saying? You know, you have to. Oh my god, it's crazy.
Or we just stop having slug on the call. That might also work.
I just stopped having call. Forget it. Forget it. Sorry, Cash. Sorry.
Gotcha. But yeah, on Monday, we released the first CWG quarterly report. This was something which we promised back during the CWG budget vote, that we would have a quarterly report every 3 months, and something that we hope most of the other work groups adopt as well, because I think it not only serves as an important touch point with the community, but it allows for a period of reflection in like a global sense. So you get to see sort of what you did over the last few months, and you have to really think about it. And I personally got a lot of value out of it. I think the other CWG members did as well. But yeah, it's hosted right now in the JUP Research Forum if you want to check it out. There's a link to it on the Twitter. There's a link to it in the working group announcements channel as well. I would read it at some point because we did put a decent amount of effort into it. But yeah, I'll yap about it a little bit. We broke it down to 4 different categories or sections, the first of which was the vision. And the TLDR for that is that, what do we see as the vision or the role of the CWG 3 months into this experiment? What do we see as the sort of role of the CWG? And our answer to that would be twofold. One of which would be, we are sort of one of the most important threads or uniting threads between the various groups within the Jupiverse. So the Catdets, the team, the moderators, the other work groups. We're one of the key touch points between all these different groups. And it's sort of our role to find an alignment between them and sort of juggle and help organize and help make sure the needs of these different groups are met adequately and that they're working well together. And the second of which is more granular, I would say, and it's finding that individual alignment between DAO members. How do we align them properly with the Jupiverse, with the team, with everything else in the Jupiter sort of, I guess, suite? For example, the Jup and Juice podcast. If the Jup and Juice podcast does well, Jupiter does well, right? Because it has the name, they're conveying a bunch of information, they're interacting within the Jupiverse. So how do we find more of these opportunities, and how do we empower these people? I think those two things that I just went over are sort of the core goals of the CWG in retrospect.
Actually, to jump on that real quick, right? I think it's actually really important to understand something here, right? Is that like I feel like WGs and anything in general is such an amazing like it's like, okay, think of a tree, right? A seed, SEED, a seed. A seed needs to grow by itself, right? You know, but without soil, without water, it can't grow, right? You know what I'm saying? All right. So I think new world goes almost like a seed, you know. It's like you can't just expect them to you need to allow them to grow, right? But they also need water, love, care, sunlight, energy, you know, they need all the liquidity, they need all that stuff, right? To grow, right? So I feel like the job of the CWG and the team almost is like to be like, hey, you're a seed. We understand you're a seed, right? You know what I'm saying? We're not gonna force you to be something you're not, right? You know, but here's water, here's the ground, then go from there. You know what I'm saying? You know? That's how I think about it. You know, a seed. You know?
Yeah, absolutely.
So as you guys have been kind of executing on this vision and trying to help both connect people as well as ensuring that people have resources, what do the last 3 months look like for you guys?
Right. So this section is quite long. I'll try to go through it with time constraints in mind. But yeah, we've done quite a bit over the last 3 months. And we intend to sort of synthesize, okay, what was the best of this stuff and what do we want to do more of for the next 3 months? So what have we accomplished? I think one of the more prominent things was the revitalization of the strict list. So in case you guys don't know, I assume you've used Jupiter sometime in the last year or two, but there used to be the strict list and the all list. The all list was everything. The strict list was verified tokens. And it encountered a lot of problems, right? Because over its history, it's evolved several times from the original Solana token list, which it was sort of spawned out of. And it was during February, March that we encountered one of the latest roadblocks that we had to find a solution for. And that was the launching of 20,000 new tokens every day. It just became an unsustainable system. It was taking 3, 4, I think the worst day was about 5 hours a day. May was having to work weekends to field these things. There was a lot of customer support considerations within the token list chat. And what we did, TLDR, was that we made this website. It's called catdetlist.jup.ag. You simply just drop the token address in there. It applies for you. There's some soft metrics that gate your ability to apply or not. And now it takes about 10 minutes a day. So drastically reduce the workload of that. And I think that's one of the best things that we've done so far, because it's really saving May a lot of time. It's saving us a lot of time. And it's even saving people who are applying these token projects a lot of time. So that's one of the big things. We've hosted and administered 3 LFG rounds. We've had retrospective town halls after each of them, incorporated new feedback, told the team certain things the community want to see. They've made UX changes in response. We've done that 3 times now. Another thing, this is more recent, is that we've grown the DAO Twitter. So one of the insights that we've kind of arrived at during the duration of this process is that, okay, a lot of the communication efforts from Jupiter are centralized to an extent from Meow's Twitter or from the Jupiter Twitter or from the Discord announcement channel. And yeah, that has benefits, but we're in this chaos superstorm that is crypto, right? So centralization has its benefits, but it also has its downsides. So something that we wanted to do was set up a more flexible Twitter, and that spawned the DAO Twitter. Right now, I think it's about 18,000 followers, about 7 weeks in. And my goodness, the engagement it gets for its size is probably the best in the space, I would say. There's posts that regularly get 300 likes, 1,000 likes, and we're able to like adequately maneuver and be flexible and educate people on like more niche topics within the DAO and within the Jupiverse.
Pretty great stuff. I mean, there's more in here that people can take a look at. The CWG has been busy, but maybe we can jump, just for the sake of time here, Slorig, into what's coming up next in particular. I know this is something a lot of cadets have been asking about around grants.
Gotcha. So yeah, next 3 months, one of the main things that we're going to spearhead is the grants program. And that's because the working group model, although it's very innovative and it's very crucial, it lacks flexibility. It only comes up every 3 months. It doesn't adequately meet the needs of every DAO member who wants to participate. And that's something we've sort of realized at this point, and something that we want to remedy. We want to create more opportunities. We want to create more flexible opportunities. And we want to create things where like, you don't have to go through a multi-month hyper-scrutinized process just because you want to contribute to the DAO. That's not a perfect fit for everyone, nor should it be. So the grants process, we're currently working. We have an advisor who actually did the Super Team grant system that we're working with on this.
Oh, I like Super Team quite a bit.
Oh, you do? And yeah, there should be news on this within the next week or two, some public news. So yeah, just stay tuned. And yeah, I don't want to keep going on. There's so much here. I would ask everyone to please go read it, because there's some important stuff in here and some important ideas. And we also want to hear your feedback. But the last thing I'll touch on is the final category. There's been 2 team changes at this point in time. The first of which is that Durden has decided to step down from his role of part-time member into a pure advisory position, which means he's no longer going to be boots on the ground in the DAO, but he's going to help us with strategy and comms. So that's the first change. And the second change is that Cryptic, or Seb, whichever you know him as, he has a family emergency, and he'll be stepping into a part-time role for the next few months. He's still going to be around. He still very much wants to be involved as much as he can. And he's going to help us with several things, such as managing the moderator team, which is solely his duty. He's going to help spearheading the grant system with us. And he's very interested in starting a DeFi education event as well.
Makes a lot of sense. Well, obviously we wish Cryptic's family the best, given their circumstances and everything. And I'll speak for everybody. Thanks for putting this report together. It is super detailed. Everyone just heard Meow talk about the importance of trust and transparency in community building, and that's what we're getting here. So if you have some questions, go to the JUP Research Forum and ask them. Obviously, the CWG also hosts office hours on a regular basis where you can make your opinions or your thoughts known about the future of, let's say, the grants program or the Twitter or anything else. But for now, I will say, Slorg, the hardest working slug in the known multiverse, thanks for coming out, brother.
Yeah, for sure. Until next time.
Cool. Can we get a little thanks, Slorg, in the chat going? I thought somebody just said, shout out to Hedy. Thanks to Slorg. All right. Well, with that said, let's go into the PPP spotlight. And just in time, my guy with the dead laptop is back in action.
So yeah, sorry guys, I just want to say one thing real quick is that I think I think just thank the Slog for his can you bring Slog back for?
Slog, come on back. Meow wants to say something to you.
Sorry, just to say that thanks. Sorry, my laptop died at a critical moment. Sorry about that. But just to say that I think really big thanks to Slog and the CWG for just slogging, man. I mean, Slog is the best slogger I know. Just slogging away, working relentlessly hard for the community, and then just being the best the best partners I can think of, on the community side, right? Yeah, cannot just to say that I cannot imagine even in in my wildest dreams how great this will work out. So I'm really grateful for them. That's all.
Can slugs blush, Slorg? Are you blushing right now?
Oh, I had no idea I was still up here. I had to get the door really quick. But I think so. It hasn't happened yet, but theoretically it seems possible.
You're right. All right. Well, you're going to have even more profuse compliments next time, to get him to actually
if he was complimenting me, I literally didn't hear. I was away for the last 60 seconds.
Oh, really?
That is the shit. Go watch the recordings.
I'm gonna have to watch the recording.
Hilarious. This is so funny. All right. See you guys. Bye.
All right. Anyway, Slorg is gone. He has one weakness, which is lack of blushing. Oh, salt. That makes more sense. Thanks, Seb. So in this next section here, I know we're coming up on time, but I promise you're going to want to hear from these communities because they are doing interesting work that helps further this peer mentality. So what we want to do every once in a while is bring on communities that we think are kind of embodying some of this. And our first one is the cutest dog on Solana. I think a few folks would have seen this. Let me just say before we have either of these groups on, none of this is investment advice, folks. We're not trying to pump tokens. We're here to learn about the communities themselves and how they've been able to make it work. Billy is one of my favorite, just from a pure meme perspective. This dog is so fucking cute. Even Meow as a cat, you got to admit, this is a cute dog, right?
Yes.
He said it very sadly. But so let's bring up David from the Billy team. Can you get a little JM in the chat for David from Billy?
Billy, hello. How's it going?
Hello, GM. Thanks for having us on.
Absolute pleasure. We've been trying to make it happen for a little bit, and it's great to have you here. For people who don't know, what can you tell them about Billy?
Right. So I think Billy, so sort of the intro to Billy and how it started is like a multi-layered CTO in the same way that, some other. Yeah. So it's a pump coin.
Community takeover for people who are not in the Memecoin trenches.
Thank you. Yes. So it launched from Pump, and, the dev sort of just dumped his bag, community took it over, and the community was great. We were getting a lot of traction, a lot of social engagement, and people were loving it. But then there was, some situation we ran into where we actually didn't own the socials, and the original dev did. So there was at this point where we were getting sort of muted on Telegram, they're banned, or didn't have control of X. So the other CTO was, while all that was happening, we had to create another Telegram, another Twitter, all that behind the scenes. And I still remember creating the Telegram and having the voice chat up with 300 people, and you would think that'd be chaos, but it was more like people were quiet. People were like, "Oh, I'll take that job. I'll help create that Telegram channel. I'll help get the socials up, and I'll help fix everything." So it was this multi-layered CTO, and that sort of trial by fire really forged the Billy community.
I think it's pretty incredible for people who aren't familiar with like how CTOs work. So as you said, whoever started the token initially on Pump had some tokens, they immediately dumped them. And then you and some other community members thought that there was enough, there was something here, some kind of like unifying force to push it forward. Is this like a literal explicit kind of effort? Do you find people just organically jumping in? How did the CTO team kind of come together?
It was very organic from like day one. It was just people who loved the dog and really saw the vision of it. And I think what really drives the community to Billy is when you have such, like, as you said, it's such a fucking cute dog, right? When you have this cute dog with like such a simple thesis with the name, implying the simplistic journey, and you put that against the zeitgeist of scams, pump and dumps and all that, it's sort of something people could rally behind, and the community sort of got behind that and really took it over.
I think a lot of Memecoin communities are known for being cesspools. There's no other way to say it. They're disgusting and kind of toxic. That's not been my experience with the Billy community. What have you guys done, or what kind of tactics or strategies have you used to make sure that this is more of a friendly, welcoming kind of community rather than an adversarial one?
Right. So as mentioned before, like it's all about trust. So like the simplistic journey I talked about, if you imagine we're sort of the communities in this car and we're riding along the journey, you have to have like trust in the driver that we're going to get there. You're going to have trust in the person who's controlling the radio, that they're going to play music you like. So it's basically community members are the driver. They're basically moderating. They're basically having conversations with other groups. It's the people in charge of the radio. So the people who are doing, we have some really cool songs from community members, some cool memes. So creating this trust and letting people sort of take over and sort of drive this journey has really let Billy become what it is. There's really no like 1, 2, or 3 or a group of people saying like Billy should head this way. It's more like the community's in this car. We're driving together on this journey, and people sort of decide if we want to make pit stops, what music we want to listen to, and sort of just drive the car with a community-driven fashion.
Hey, so David, I admit to being fascinated, by the way. I love what you're saying. I had no idea. I'm so interested to learn more. And we should really I'd love to do a really deep dive with you guys at some point, right? But just some quick questions here. I talked about trust earlier, right? And transparency earlier, right? And I feel like the biggest problem in meme coins is that we there's just not that stuff, right?
Exactly.
And I feel like I'm really interested to kind of like understand how this trust can be built. You know what I'm saying? No, and actually also I've seen a lot of fake CTOs too, right? They pretend they it's so PPP, it's crazy. It's like you go there, you do a fake, you FUD it, you CTO it, and dump it again, right? It's like and this kind of things is so heartbreaking for people who believe in something, right? I'm seriously, I feel like memes are different from DeFi project in the sense that some people get very invested in the idea or the meme or the story, right? You know what I'm saying? And it just, and I feel like when that happens, people get heartbroken, right? Mm-hmm. I feel like it's so sad. So the question for you is, how do you think the trust get built in the BD community, right? And then both I trust that the developers are gone, the devs are gone. I trust that the remaining holders are there. You know what I'm saying? How do you build a trust? I'm actually very fascinated by that.
Right. Yeah. So I think the layer of like the foundation of trust is built by that trial of fire I talked about earlier.
Yeah. True.
But then it goes on beyond that. So like there's people in my community who I'm fully doxed to. There's also people like you just want to engage with who I've talked to and you get to learn about on a personal level. So I've furthered my professional career just talking to people in the Billy community. There's people who live near me who want to grab drinks. There's people who in my hometown who want to grab drinks. Yeah. So it's all about like trusting that the community has the best interest and just putting yourself out there, because like there's really no other way than like, wow, I really do feel the Billy community is here for the best interest and the holders have the best interest of Billy at heart. So I'm going to put myself out there, and it just worked. And people, the community just want to learn more about each other. They just want to engage with each other, and they just love having this dog that has this great memetic tool to it that you could just like have infinite memes with it. Like the ceiling is unlimited. You could do anything with it.
I feel like it's amazing. It's amazing to say that, because I feel like can you believe it and stuff, when there's enough trust and enough desire for a certain symbol to take place, great value gets created, right?
Exactly.
I mean, we're talking about crazy amounts of value, like concrete value gets created, right? So for something that's actually very intangible, like trust and happiness and connections, right? You create immense value. Isn't it interesting? Isn't it amazing world that we live in?
Yeah, I think trust is like the impetus of like value creation in a community, because without that, you sort of to get this network effect, a lot of people like to talk about is like you need to be able to connect with people, have open conversations, and just like be able to talk about anything and have like there's many times where I have opinions in like a team chat where I'm like, should we do this? And they're like, no, that's dumb. I'm like, yeah, you're right. You know, I love the constructive criticism. So just the trust and openness within the community, I think, is like a pivotal cornerstone to like these memes.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. I mean, I would love to do a separate space with you sometime.
Of course, we'd love that.
Yeah, let's get genuine articles in that as well.
Yeah,
and go deep, because I think the Billy story is.
I know I love everything in competition, like the idea of CTOs, the idea of trust, the idea of value, right? I mean, because at the end of the day, crypto is about value, right? Because we are about that value creation, right? You know what I'm saying? No, but then I feel like what is happening in the meme coin world today, especially, is that like there's this very short view that okay, I must get the value in this very, very few hours or minutes or seconds even. Right? But if you look at true value, right? True value is created from long-term trust.
Exactly.
You think, right? No, right. I mean, otherwise it's just like circulating, right? I'm saying, but I really feel like it's actually really important for us, you know. Yeah. So I love it.
I also think it's important to note that while there is that like value creation in terms of notional dollar, community and memes and laughter and just like the time you spend with friends is like a value that really hasn't been tangible since the tokenization of memes, and now you could actually see that value being created and sort of collected.
Yeah, I mean, and even the fun things that even if you want to go really anal and stuff, you can like you people really pay a lot of money to be entertained and have fun.
Exactly.
Right. You know, seriously, like fun has like tremendous. I mean, like I used to say this thing, right? It's like if you take how much I spend on things that I really absolutely need, right? It's like what 5%, 10%, right? You know, right? For most people, right, in the Western world, right? You know, I feel like you know, like we actually spend a lot in effort, time, and our mental energy on being happy, you know, right? And I do actually feel that that's actually what a good meme coin can really do, right? You know, kind of like really merge the combine happiness and also like the value creation, right? You know, yeah, that's how I think about it. You know, yeah,
absolutely.
Okay, great. We gotta talk more at some point.
We're gonna go, yeah. So if you're interested in learning more about Billy, stay tuned to their socials, to the Jupiter socials. We'll get a Twitter space going maybe this week or next week with genuine articles and some other folks. David, thanks so much for coming on. I guess the last question here is what's next for Billy?
Right. So the core principle is always just onboarding and making sure people have fun. Of course, we're always going to have announcements going on and, you know, just keep in tune with our socials because we're always going to have things rolling out to announce. But at the core of it, it's really just onboarding and engaging, because without like having fun on that car ride, if, you know, I'm alluding back to that metaphor, like, you know, it's just going to be like, are we there yet? And you don't want that. You sort of want to just enjoy the car ride and enjoy the stops, the unplanned stops. And even if like you get a flat tire along the way and you have to fix it, you want to have enjoyment in that process. So onboarding and making sure that the community is having fun is like the number one priority going forward.
Yep.
We'll have some fun together. David, thanks so much for coming out.
Thanks so much.
I'm a fan now. Let's go. I'm a fan now. I'm a big fan now. Let's go. Yeah.
Thank you.
Meow, be the let's go.
Cheers, brother. All right. Well, we got one other community that we wanted to spotlight here. Excuse me. That's taking a real what I would call a proactive approach to the PPP mentality. They've launched a token recently, but the token kind of masked some of their larger aims and ambitions. I'm going to bring up, I think I can dox him. Person who your name is still there. Is that on purpose? Okay, cool. Well, here is the first time ever, breaking news, doxing the Send team.
Just to be clear, I think someone is saying just hello. I think it's not about promoting anything, but it's really about kind of introducing like the people behind, you know, meme coins, because meme coins are actually a really important part of the ecosystem. You know what I'm saying? And they will be, okay? So the more we get to know the people behind them, right? You know, the more we can start to understand this project, how it works. You know what I'm saying? So that's the reason why we do these PPP things. Okay, cool. Sounds good. Sorry, let's go.
Yeah, this is not financial advice in any way, shape, or form. And now let's bring him up. Take two, everyone. Drop a little send it in the chat for our guy Irfan from
hello.
team.
Hello.
Send.
Hi everyone. Hi Cash. Hi Meow.
This is one I'm very excited for. I've been a long time super team member. We've known each other for a little while here, and Send is really jumping on one of the more exciting kind of developments in the ecosystem. For anyone who has not yet heard about Blinks, Irfan, can you explain what Blinks are and what they're all about?
Yeah, so Blinks, in short, I'll say that Blinks help you turn every app, every interface, everything on your laptop screen or phone screen into a Solana interface. So in short, that's what Blinks are. So Blinks are a new version of links. For example, previously you used to have normal links which you shared and which would render a metadata image. now they render a UI to do transactions from anywhere. So yeah, in short, that's what Blinks are.
So I'm right there on Twitter. I can do a Jupiter swap without even having to go to jup.ag.
Not just Twitter, not just Twitter. You can do it anywhere, and that tooling is being developed wherein you will be able to do transactions from inside the chat in your community call, in your chats, everywhere. You will be able to send meme coins, react with meme coins from your chats, from your community calls, from Telegram, from Discord,
YouTube, Reddit,
anywhere.
everywhere, right? Just anywhere that you can
Everywhere.
put a link
Any
in. Now
interface.
use
Yeah,
Solana,
exactly.
which I think is
Yeah,
very exciting. So, folks, I see Zod in the chat has a very astute observer. People might know Irfan from his work on Cubic, which is a quadratic crowdfunding platform that helps devs across the ecosystem who are working on open source public goods actually raise the funding they need to continue. He's also behind iSol. And I think there's a lot of that same kind of like spirit of helping grow the ecosystem in Send as well. We talk about PPP, peer pump peer, trying to grow the pie, bring more people in on a basis of trust. How does Send factor into, like, what is the purpose of Send?
So I'll give a small background of myself, how I started these things. So I have been in Solana for like a long time, like around 3 years. We started a project called Cubic last year when FTX crash happened. So what actually Cubic did was we helped developers to raise funds through communities when they are building products which are not actually generating revenue, but they are really important for the ecosystem, like digital public goods. We help those projects to raise funds because there are a lot of people who really want to help those developers. So I have been among developers for a long time. So we have been building this product for a long time. We launched the LST with Sanctum, which then distributed all the APY generated from that LST to builders and public goods in Solana. So we have been doing this for last 2 years now, and I'm a big product guy. I like building consumer facing products. So when actually Blinks launched around that time, we were like, this is something that is going to change how we interact, how we actually interact on chain. Because what are we actually, how are we better than Web 2? When it comes to that, we are in no way, the user experience in no way is better than Web 2. You can do any kind of thing, be it like a crypto social or a normal Web 2 social like Instagram. They are way ahead of us. What is better that we are providing to users to come on board to Web3? There is nothing actually. When you say, for people who don't, non-traders, for example, people who don't give a shit about like is it centralized or decentralized, they just want to do things which they want to, and if we are not providing better user experience or better products to them, they don't care about you. You can make a shit ton of money, but the space will be same. You cannot, like when you talk about onboarding million users, that's not how it happens. We need to improve. And when Blinks launched, I was blown away by the way they could like actually transform everything into like, now imagine you could do everything on your Instagram. You just need one interface on your mobile to do anything. That's what actually AI is promising, that everything you will do is from just a single voice command. That's what Blinks are. You can just scroll an interface and do everything. So I think, so there has been a long debate that what's Web3? Is AI Web3 or is crypto Web3? And I for a long time I thought that AI is Web3 because that's the newer version of internet that's going to be. Crypto is no way going to be the newer version of internet. But like now, we never leveraged composability actually. We promised that everything is on a single state machine, but we have to go to different tabs to do different kind of actions. But AI is saying that, hey, every action you want to do, you just give a command to ChatGPT. ChatGPT is now closely integrated with Apple. So how do you beat this kind of user experience with your scattered user experience? If you want to swap, you go to Jupiter. If you want to like stake, you go to a new website. If you want to like get rewards from your NFT which it earned, to a new website. You want to like vote, you go to a new website. There are millions of apps that exist and nobody cares about what you are building. So if you don't improve on that user experience, nobody gives a shit about it. And
So that's for Blinks, right? I think we all pretty clear what Blinks are, but how about Send? right?
Yeah.
It's
So
like,
how does
Yeah,
Send
that's what
actually
I'm
power you?
explaining. That's what I'm explaining. So this is what Blinks is. Now, this is a protocol that's in early phase of adoption. That's on early phase. And all what I'm saying is not possible on day one. This thing will be possible in like 2 years or 1 year from now. If this protocol gets adopted and we are able to attract a lot of builders to that protocol, a lot of users. Now, how will builders come? If we attract a lot of attention to that protocol, we have like imagine you launching a Blinks and you are having like 1 million people interacting with that Blink on Twitter. Developers will be like running to build Blinks the next day, and that's how the protocol will get adopted. And through our approach of building public goods, building a protocol as public good, uh, no one is attracted, because that's what I have been doing. How do you attract people? We have like a lot of DJs, we have like a lot of people in the
Right.
ecosystem, but what these indie devs are building, no one is using that. How do we attract attention to them? So that's where Send came in. That now we will tell these DJs, we will tell all these communities. Solana has like a big, crazy, big community of speculators. How do we make them use these new tech? So that's where Send came in. That hey, you interact with Blinks, you build Blinks, you will be incentivized with this token. This
So it's a
token will be
reward mechanism. So going back to this kind of like PPP mentality, right? Of like, how do we help win and help others win? Send is a token that allows people who are actually interacting, or even better, building Blinks, to be incentivized to do that. Is that right? It's kind of like
yeah,
degen in the Farcaster
exactly.
ecosystem to a way.
Exactly. So it's like degen in the Farcaster system. We learned from that it's that's how they brought in degens to use a decentralized social network. How do we do that on Solana? How do we make sure that people use Blinks? How they just don't scroll it away? So now, so one big example will be the first Blink we launched on our social platform. It had like 1 million views. That tweet that tweet had 1 million views and 100,000 NFTs were minted in just 10 hours. And we had like 150,000 plus people interacting with two Blinks we launched from our platform. The Twitter account started from 3 followers, and now in 2 weeks it's at 30,000 followers, all organic reach. And I think we showed that hey, this thing can work actually. If you how you can bring that attention here to what builders are building. So
Yeah.
I think we are moving forward with this and launching it, helping a lot of builders to build Blinks that integrate Send and bring that attention to their Blink. Uh, Now their Blink will be used by a lot of builders. Now they will have feedback to improve upon what tooling they are using. So we are launching a ton of new Blinks, toolings around Blinks, so that we attract attention to this new protocol which is being developed on Solana, which has potential.
Very cool. I think what is exciting.
So basically, Send is a sorry, Cash. Sorry.
I was going to say, I think what's exciting about this here is that the way that it embodies the PPP community is that it is a incentive mechanism. It's an alignment mechanism to help people who are actually building things that create more value and allow more people to use Solana in their daily lives, which I think is quite interesting from a meme coin, to have like this kind of like noble mission to help further adoption of some core technology here. What were you going to say?
Kind of skills, right? I think skills also have the similar mission too, right? Of onboarding and helping people as well. So I think it's actually pretty interesting. So Send is basically a tool to basically drive awareness, incentivize behavior, and also like get adoption, right? For Blinks. That's the key idea.
Yeah. So that's the key idea. And like Send will be integrated into Blinks which you use it. So it's like Bonk for Blinks.
Oh, Send will be Blink. That's interesting. Really?
Yeah. So Send will be your point, like where you come and interact with amazing new games which are building Blinks. You participate in that games with Send. You earn more. Now developers are incentivized to build more and more games which engage degens into non-degen activities on chain, to bring more and more people on chain through Send.
Awesome.
I like. Excellent. Cool. Well, Irfan, thanks so much for coming out. Thanks for doing the work behind Send and getting more people to engage in the Blinks ecosystem.
Also, obviously, cubing and ISO and everything. Thanks for everything. That's all the work.
Yeah. The man is out here trying to make the ecosystem better in a somewhat selfless fashion, which is that PPP mentality, right? Not just launching a token, dumping it, and so on and so forth. For Send, you guys have 3 years linear vesting, if I'm not mistaken, as well within the core team.
So yeah, it's like 50% of the treasury is is airdropping slowly. We launched just 2 weeks. We launched the token like 3-4 days ago, and we started building this 2 weeks ago. So 50% of the token is going to be airdropped through these behaviors in next few months to the community, and 50%, some portion of that is for the core contributors, and rest of that is logged in a treasury. 50% is vesting in 3 years, and 50% is airdropped to the community, and that will be the log 50% is used to then incentivize builders to build more blinks and incentivize people to interact with that blinks. So yeah, they needed a treasury.
So, folks,
so I think it solved that problem.
Start building blinks. Go check out Send. Irfan, thanks for coming out. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having us here.
Coming out.
There's that. All right, folks. Well, with that said, we can start to wrap up this call. As a little quick reminder of where we've come through, we talked about wins of the week, some product improvements, some community wins coming through as well. We got to hear about the JUP principles, 50/50, CEF, and PPP, along with the new transparency meta that is coming with a little experiment around airdrops coming out soon. We got to hear, excuse me, from Slorg of the CWG in terms of all the work they've been doing. Go check out their quarterly report. And then, of course, we got to hear from Billy about their CTO, their community takeover, and Send, and how they're trying to increase the pie, grow the pie of blinks out in the world. For right now, that takes us to the not-so-surprise POAP. Just a real cutie this time, I got to say. Very, very cute. You can scan this QR code. As a reminder, you'll need at least 50 JUP staked. This is how we keep the Sybils away in order to get the POAP. We'll put the link into the chat here as well. And then we will start to wrap it up. Hopefully, somebody can put the link into the chat for the POAP. If not, you can just scan this right now to get access. All right, Meow, there's the form. Any final words here, Meow, before we jump?
No, it's really great to have. It's really great to kind of talk to everyone through the JUP principles and PPP and the new meta transparency, right? You know, and yeah, there'll be a lot of stuff coming up in the next few weeks and months. So let's get it.
Let's go. It's going to get busy from here, folks. Thank you so much for coming out and joining. Smash that like button. Subscribe to the YouTube page. Go check out all the different Twitter profiles for Ape, the JUP DAO, and of course, Jupiter itself. And with that said, we are going to wrap up with Meow's favorite song, everybody. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. Adios, everybody.
I give a second chance to kill